am the guardian of freedom, American way of life. I am the American soldier.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am First Lieutenant Mitchell Phelps, and on behalf of the Charlie Company Commander, Captain Joseph E. Dial, and Company First Sergeant Addison Yost, I would like to welcome you to the United States Army Maneuver Support Center of Excellence at Fort Leonard, Missouri, and to the One Station Unit Training Graduation of Charlie Company, 35th Engineer Battalion, 1st Engineer Brigade. This graduation ceremony is the official recognition of the transformation from civilian volunteer to Army soldier. It is a significant occasion for all of us, but especially for your soldier who is about to become an integral part of the United States Army Engineer Regiment, serving on active duty in the Army Reserve or with the Army National Guard. The official party this morning consists of Captain Joseph E. Dial, the Commander of Charlie Company, First Sergeant Addison Yost, the Charlie Company First Sergeant, and Chaplain Anthony Check. In a moment, the bugle call "Attention" will sound. At that time, we ask that you all rise for the entry of the official party and remain standing for the invocation and national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Check.
Good morning. I invite you to bow and pray with me. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you for the men and women who stand before us today as graduates. I thank you for the loved ones who have gathered with them to celebrate this milestone accomplishment. Over these last weeks, these soldiers have been transformed from civilians into soldiers and engineers. You've watched over them, answered prayers. They've been challenged, grown, trained, and now enter as professionals the ranks of the profession of arms. As we come and celebrate their hard work, we ask, Father, that you would keep your hand upon them as they begin to serve our nation. May they remember and be humbled by the fact that they've entered into the ranks of something bigger than themselves. And may they be reminded that you are the one who watches over each of us. I thank you for the families, the loved ones who have been a source of strength and support for them, the battle buddies who have encouraged them through, and the drill sergeants and instructors who've invested in them. May your blessings, Father, be upon each one here, upon our nation, our Army. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what stone family we had held at the twilight's last gleam, whose roses and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Charlie Company, Captain Joseph E. Diamond.
Good morning, Colonel Snyder, Master Major Dan, Lieutenant Colonel Helton, Mrs. Helton, Sergeant Major Plato, English guests, friends, family members, welcome to Charlie Company. As the Commander of Charlie Company, I would like to welcome you to today's graduation. We will recognize the achievements of these new engineer soldiers. It's my honor to address you today. I'd like to take a moment to thank you for traveling today to Fort Leonard. The life of a soldier is not easy. We rely on each other to get through our toughest challenges. The bond that is developed between soldiers transcends generations and is never ending. At this time, I would like to recognize all of our military veterans, past and present, who have served this great nation. For all those who have served or are currently serving, please stand. Please join me in a round of applause. These veterans and all others form the long gray line of our military traces across history. From Valley Forge to the beaches of Normandy, in the jungles of Vietnam to the mountains of Afghanistan, our Army has fought for the freedom of the United States. The mantle of security forged by early generations now sits on our shoulders, including these new soldiers sitting before you. I would also like to take time to recognize the most important people in the Army. Ones who sacrifice just as much, if not more, than our soldiers, the families. Understand that you are now part of the Army family. Your role in our organization is important today as a soldier who defends our nation's battlefield. Every day you make a sacrifice in support of our soldiers' service. On behalf of Charlie Company, I thank you for your current and future support to the men and women of the armed forces. Finally, I would like to recognize the soldiers graduating today. Here before you are 165 engineer soldiers. During the time of conflict, these soldiers have all sworn an oath to defend our Constitution and the American way of life. Commandos, take a moment to reflect on who you were on September 27th and who you are now. All of you are different from the individual who showed up 16 weeks ago. I'm confident you pushed yourselves to improve physically, mentally, and emotionally, sometimes with additional motivation from your drill sergeants. These soldiers have worked hard to master their word, task, and battle drills, spending numerous hours enhancing their craft in the field, on the demolition range, and in the PT pits. A lot of time at PT pits. They have demonstrated proficiency in constructing and priming military demolition systems, operating the PSS-14 mine detector, reaching obstacles, and assembling the medium girder and improved ribbon bridges. They have embraced the warrior ethos, the Army values, and achieved standards of advanced individual training. Today, they enter the Army profession. Commandos. Take from here everything you've learned and always live by the Army values. Your future leaders, officers, and NCOs will demand that you contribute immediately to the unit and its mission. They expect proficiency in basic tasks and the eagerness to learn new skills. Surround yourself with peers and leaders who choose the harder right over the easier road. Do not be discouraged by the lazy, the discontent, or the self-important. Ignore any criticism you encounter. Though imperfect, like all things, the Army is one of the few organizations where merit is a guaranteed avenue to success. Your career is now in your own hands. Make the most of it. Soldiers of Charlie Company, enjoy this day as you are officially recognized as an injured soldier. Your journey has not been easy, but nothing that's truly worth it ever is. Always remember the training you received here and what it means to be an Army professional and a member of the Engineer Regiment. Dedicate yourself to being a person of character. Most importantly, remember that you will always be a member of the Commando family. Soldiers, welcome to the Engineer Regiment. Essayions, Sappers first, ability, courage, results, Commandos.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever.
Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people, he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we are retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than death, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot around the world? The martyrs of history were not. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance.
I watched the flag pass by one day. It fluttered in the breeze. A young soldier saluted it, and then he stood at ease. I looked at him in uniform, so young, so tall, so proud. With hair cut square and eyes alert, he'd stand out in any crowd. I thought how many men like him had fallen through the years. How many died on foreign soil, how many mothers' tears. How many pilots' planes shot down, how many died at sea. How many foxholes were soldiers' graves. No freedom is not free. I heard the sound of taps one night, when everything was still. I listened to the bugler play, and felt a sudden chill. I wondered just how many times that taps had meant amen, when a flag had draped a coffin of a brother or a friend. I thought of all the children, of the mothers and the wives, of the fathers, sons, and husbands with interrupted lives. I thought about a graveyard at the bottom of the sea, of unmarked graves in Arlington. No, freedom is not free.
I am an American soldier. I am a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined, physically and mentally so. Trained and proficient in my warrior task and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself. I'm an expert and I'm a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to move out the auditorium and take pictures. We only ask that you do not directly interfere with those participating in the ceremony. At this time, awards will be presented to the soldiers who have excelled during this training cycle. Lieutenant Colonel Michael D. Helton, the battalion commander, Sergeant Major Charles Collado, the battalion sergeant major, Captain Dial, and First Sergeant Yost will now recognize the soldiers who have excelled during this training cycle. Please feel free to applaud the awardees. The Commanding General's Award for Military Excellence is awarded to the soldier who demonstrated the highest overall ability in leadership, physical fitness, and military studies. For outstanding performance throughout Cycle 17020, the recipient of the Commanding General's Award and top graduate is Private David Golden from Wilmore, Kentucky. The Army Engineer Association is a private organization that promotes the United States Army Engineer Regiment, preserves its history and traditions, fosters professional development, and provides academic scholarships. The recipient of the Army Engineer Association's Staffer Spirit Award is Private Samantha Pemberton from Youngstown, Ohio. Private Pemberton also achieved the highest female score on the final APFT by scoring 300 out of the possible 300 points, and will also receive the Army Physical Fitness Award. The Association of the United States Army is a nonprofit educational organization that includes all ranks and all branches. The AUSA Award is presented to the soldier whose outstanding qualities of leadership best express the American spirit, honor, initiative, and high standards to their comrades in arms. It is an honor to present the Association of the United States Army Award to Private Caleb White from Decatur, Illinois. In addition to the AUSA Award, Private White is also receiving the IN4 Award, requiring the exceptional display of military bearing, presenting the best overall appearance and demonstrating the highest overall knowledge and competence during the battalion commander and command sergeant major's uniform, weapons, equipment, and barracks inspection. The Character Award is delivered by the soldier's peers, indicating that he's displayed the Army values to the highest standard throughout Cycle 17020. The Character Award is awarded to Private Dylan McAllister from Tampa, Florida. The Rifle Marksmanship Award is awarded to the soldier who scored the highest during basic rifle marksmanship qualification. For hitting 35 of the possible 40 targets, the Rifle Marksmanship Award goes to Private Alexander Tedeschi, Chicago, Illinois. In order to graduate, all soldiers must pass the Army Physical Fitness Test, consisting of 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and 2 mile timed run. All soldiers in Charlie Company that earn the Army Physical Fitness badge by scoring a minimum of 90 points in each of the 3 events will now stand. achieving the highest male score on the final APFT by scoring 289 out of the possible 300. The Army Physical Fitness Test Award is presented to Private Joel Coleman from Toma, Wisconsin. The following soldier is being awarded the Battalion Certificate of Achievement for singing the national anthem. Private James Green, St. Hook, Kentucky. The following soldiers are being awarded the Battalion Certificate of Achievement for reciting the Soldier's Creed. Specialist Nicholas Epic from Webster, New York. Private Milana Exline from Satellite Beach, Florida. Private Jonathan Wood, Crystal City, Missouri. Private Oriana Jaramillo, San Bernardino, California. Private James Hogan, Orlando, Florida. Specialist Christopher Woolcott, Berkshire, Texas. Private Garen Pruitt, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. During the course of training, there are always a few individuals who put forth the extra effort to ensure that all soldiers are fully trained and qualified to meet the demands of today's modern Army. The Charlie Company would like to recognize the instructors of the cycle for Class 17020. For excellence in MOS 12 Bravo training at Range 33, the Combat Engineer instructor of the cycle is Mr. Mark Shea from the Combat Engineer Skills Division of 35th Engineering Battalion. For excellence in MOS 12 Charlie training at TA 250, the bridge crew member instructor of the cycle is Staff Sergeant Christopher White from the Combat Engineer Skills Division, 35th Engineer Battalion, who could not attend today due to mission requirements. The supporter of the cycle is awarded to and is presented to an individual who went above and beyond in their duties by providing outstanding support to the soldiers and cadre of Charlie Company. For Cycle 17020, the supporter of the cycle is Specialist Ashley Tetrialt. For each of the soldiers graduating today, there are professional, non-commissioned officers, drill sergeants, who have dedicated this portion of their military career to ensure the future readiness of our Army and the freedom of our country. These drill sergeants were at work before your soldiers got up in the morning, trained them throughout the day, and often didn't leave the barracks until after the soldiers were in bed. They're the ones that truly know what it took to make your loved one into the soldier that you see before you today. Ladies and gentlemen, the drill sergeant of Charleston. The senior drill sergeant for Charlie Company is Sergeant First Class Leonard Brown, San Antonio, Texas. The senior drill sergeant first platoon is Staff Sergeant Denoris Hinton, Rock Hill, South Carolina. The drill sergeants of first platoon are Staff Sergeant Justin Gonzalez from Dallas, Texas. Staff Sergeant Jeremy Labuda, Torrington, Wyoming. The senior drill sergeant of second platoon is Staff Sergeant Gertrude Moorhead, Candor, New York. The drill sergeants for second platoon are Staff Sergeant Cody Hensley, Leesville, Louisiana. Staff Sergeant Gregory Hirsch, Temple, Florida. Staff Sergeant Nicholas Gibbs, Crawford, Colorado. The senior drill sergeant for third platoon is Staff Sergeant Bob Schmidt, Sergeant First Class Bob Schmidt, Superior, Wisconsin. The drill sergeants for third platoon are Staff Sergeant Corey Ulam of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Staff Sergeant Antoine Norris from Memphis, Tennessee. Both cannot attend due to mission requirements. And Staff Sergeant Kyle Iverson, Holstein, Nebraska. From among an outstanding group of non-commissioned officers, we honor the drill sergeant who distinguished himself from among his peers through truly exceptional duty performance while developing the military skills of his soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, for Cycle 17020, the drill sergeant of the cycle is Staff Sergeant Kyle Iverson.
Individuals, in their efforts, become highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldiers, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the highest tradition of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, and require a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant.
The company commander will now present Staff Sergeant Iverson with the Drill Sergeant Cycle Award. At this time, Drill Sergeant Iverson will present his wife with a bouquet of flowers to show his appreciation for her unwavering love and support during the cycle. Ladies and gentlemen, again, please feel free to move about the theater and take pictures. However, we ask that you don't interfere with the ceremony itself. A significant event in your soldiers' military career is about to occur. The drill sergeants, for the past 16 weeks, have embodied for these soldiers the very essence of the Army. You will now pin the engineer branch insignia on the left collar of your soldier's uniform. This insignia will identify them as engineer soldiers, the new keepers of the regiment who, when faced with adversity, will always answer, "Esse ons," the motto of the engineers, which means, "Let us try." Ladies and gentlemen, The drill sergeants will now pin the engineer branch insignia on the collars of the soldiers of 1st Platoon. Please hold your applause until after all the gladiators have received their engineer tassels.
1, 2, up to go! Right, ready! Forward, march! Private Gold, Wilmore, Kentucky! Private Gold, home Wisconsin! Special Assembly, Western New York!
Private Excellence, LFP, Florida.
Private Wood, Mississippi, Missouri! Private Adams, Russell, Belgium! Private Bowman, Sun City, California!
Private Gold, San Francisco, California.
Private Brown, Oklahoma, Oklahoma!
Private Sergeant, Chicago, Illinois.
Specialist Barras, Santiago, California!
Private Diaz, San Jose, California.
Let's go to the Venezuela! Private Washington, D.C. Private Baltimore, Reagan, Sacramento, California!
Private Lawson, Sacramento, California. Private Kennedy, Sacramento,
Private Glasgow, Huntsville, Ohio! Private Hurd, Benita, Louisiana! Private Harsher, Roger Smith, Michigan!
Private Hyman, Private Illinois.
Private Thomas, Illinois! Private Lynette, New York! Private Johnson, Lafayette, Indiana!
Private Lopez, Harrisburg, Virginia. Private Lloyd, Houston, Texas. Private Morales, Rankin, Pennsylvania. Special Battalion, Dallas, Texas.
Private Murphy, Clayton, New Orleans!
Private Wood, Kentucky.
Private Sullivan, East Missouri!
Private Walmart, Tucson, California.
Private Pearson, Honolulu, Hawaii! Private Perez, Vancouver, Washington!
Private Braddock, Brooklyn, New York.
Private General, Senator Vaughn! Private Holmes, Louisiana! Private Ray, San Diego, California! Private Raymond, Fullerton, Washington! Private Robbins, Austin, Texas! Private Senior, Private Sherman, St. Petersburg, Florida!
Private Vincent, Providence, Washington.
Private Atwood, Fort Worth, Maine! Private First Lieutenant Taylor, Chattanooga, Maryland! Private Martin, Houston, Texas! Private Lynn, South Central California! Private Wagner, Prairie, Oklahoma! Private Washington, Leonard, Georgia! Private Webb, South Mississippi!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Gladiators of 1st Platoon. The drill sergeants will now pin the engineer branch insignia on the collars of the soldiers of 2nd Platoon. Please hold your applause until after all the immortals have received their engineer castles. Immortals 2nd Platoon. The drill sergeants will now pin the engineer branch insignia on the colors of the soldiers of 3rd Platoon. Please hold your applause until after all the berserkers have received their engineer castles. Berserkers of 3rd Platoon. Captain Dow will now re-administer the oath of enlistment to the soldiers class 17020.
Company, touch your hands. Strength. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name. I, Daniel Wellington. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution. That I will support and defend the Constitution. Of the United States. Of the United States. Against all enemies. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. Foreign and domestic. And I will bear true faith and allegiance. And I will bear true faith and allegiance. Do the same. And I will obey the orders of the President. And I will obey the orders of the President. Of the United States. And the orders of the officers. And the orders of the officers. Appointed over me. According to regulations. According to regulations. And the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. So help me God. Soldiers, when you leave here, never forget how myself and the company drill sergeants feel about you. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for our newest engineer.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the benediction and remain standing for the playing of the Engineer Regimental Song, the Army Song, and the departure of the official party.
Gracious Father in heaven, again I thank you for each soldier here before us. I thank you for the loved ones who surrounded us here in this home, who celebrate with us today. I thank you for your hand of protection upon each one. As they go from here into the ranks of our army, may they see you work in their lives. May they know the closeness and purposes that you have for them. Father, above all, we ask that peace, your peace, will be upon our land, and your mercy on each one of us. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
This concludes the Charlie Company graduation ceremony. You can meet your soldier outside of the theater after we've completed last-minute administrative actions, and they are dismissed by the drill sergeants. Thank you all for attending. Please travel safely.
I am turning